Supermicro's most recent official outlook is eye-popping. For fiscal Q2 2026, quarter ending December 31, 2025, the company guided net sales of $10.0 billion to $11.0 billion, and for fiscal year 2026 it expects at least $36.0 billion in sales. Those are huge top-line expectations for a company that just reported a much smaller quarter and whose business depends on shipping complex GPU rack systems at hyperscaler scale. Why this is a big deal? The market is being asked to believe that Supermicro will not only fulfill large, technically demanding orders on schedule, but will do so while navigating GPU supply, component sourcing, thermal engineering, system validation, and tangled logistics. That's a sprint relay of engineering, procurement, and sales, and every handoff has to be clean for the revenue figure to actually show up in the books. The rapidly expanding order book, and the $13 billion figure, what it is and what it isn't. Supermicro told investors it has a rapidly expanding order book, including more than $13 billion in Blackwell Ultra orders, a headline that reads like a blockbuster trailer. CEO Charles Liang framed the company as expanding/transforming into a leading AI and data center infrastructure company, reinforcing the messaging that SMCI is moving beyond being just a server vendor. Reality check. Order book. Language can mean different things: design wins, purchase orders, letters of intent, or firm, paid, and scheduled shipments. The important investor distinction is between validated, paid and scheduled revenue versus contingent, or staged commitments. Supermicro's public statements suggest large commitments exist, but historically the market has learned to wait for confirmed shipment and revenue recognition before celebrating. The path from Blackwell Ultra order to actual revenue, a stop-by-stop guide. Picture a Blackwell Ultra order as a skyscraper build, tall, expensive, and full of specialists. Design/validation. Customers test hardware/software stacks and pilot clusters to verify performance and compatibility. Component procurement, GPUs, custom power delivery, liquid cooling parts, racks, all must be sourced. GPU supply is often the gating factor. Manufacturing and assembly. High-density GPU racks require precision assembly and quality testing. Logistics and deployment. Shipping entire racks to hyperscalers, plus on-site integration. By the way, if you are benefiting from the content so far and want more like this, like the video, it means much to me, or hit the subscribe button and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more so I know. Now that you have commented, let's continue. Acceptance and revenue recognition. The customer signs off, and the system becomes revenue. If any stage slips, revenue can shift across quarters. That is exactly why a $13 billion order book is exciting, but also why analysts watch the cadence carefully rather than simply applauding a headline. Q1 reality. Why the guidance had to be accompanied by explanations. Supermicro's Q1 fiscal results showed a material decline from prior expectations, partly because some expected revenue rolled into Q2 after customers requested design upgrades. The company explained that some Q1 revenue was pushed by design win upgrades and would land in Q2, which helps explain why the company's Q2 guidance jumps so sharply. Investors cheered the revenue guide but punished margins and credibility concerns, producing the classic guidance up, stock down reaction. Big guidance looks great, until you realize it depends on customers moving from pilot to production and the company hitting delivery timing exactly. CEO Charles Liang's pitch, Total Solutions and DCBBS. Charles Liang explicitly described Supermicro as evolving into a total IT solution company, with the DCBBS, Data Center Building Block Solutions, approach and liquid cooling systems meant to simplify hyperscaler deployments. He's selling a bundle, validated racks, thermal solutions, management stacks, and an integration pipeline that, in his telling, shortens time to deploy and reduces total cost of ownership for customers. That pitch is central to the "we're not just selling boxes" narrative that supports higher revenue and stronger margins, if the market accepts it. Imagine Supermicro as IKEA for AI data centers,
But instead of Allen keys and particle board, you get racks that chew up electricity and cough out petabytes. The idea is that customers want a ready-to-run rack more than they want component shopping lists. Trump's data center push, the policy turbocharge, and its thumb screws. In July 2025, the White House issued a major policy initiative, an executive order and accompanying fact sheet, intended to accelerate federal permitting and streamline data center infrastructure development, classifying large AI data centers as qualifying projects, eligible for expedited reviews, potential financial support, and reduced NEPA requirements. The EO aims to speed transmission builds, repurpose brownfield sites, and direct agencies to make project approvals faster. It's a clear political push to get more data centers built faster. Donald Trump and allies also highlighted private investment commitments, including a reported $20 billion pledge from Hussein Sajwani to invest in U.S. data centers, underscoring the administration's desire to marry policy incentives with big private capital flows. On its face, this is great for anyone who makes racks, servers, and power solutions. Faster permitting plus capital plus incentives equals more construction orders. SMCI should benefit, in a perfect world. Why a policy turbo can be a double-edged sword for SMCI. But here's the twist. Big policy pushes that speed up construction can generate new and different risks for supermicro, grid strain and energy politics. Rapidly building many large data centers increases demand on local grids. Utilities may impose costly interconnection upgrades, charged to either the data center operator or passed through to suppliers. If energy gets constrained, project costs rise or projects stall, which can delay SMCI shipments. Media and environmental groups have warned that big data center plans can ignore grid reality. Local community pushback. Speeding federal permitting can trigger local resistance, noise, water use, land grabs, that creates legal challenges or reputational headaches. If communities block or slow projects, the revenue timeline shifts. Overbuild and demand elasticity. If policymakers and investors over-accelerate capacity, the market can temporarily oversupply racks and servers, depressing prices and pressuring margins. That's especially risky if hyperscalers stagger builds or demand cools. In plain terms, if everyone builds data centers at once but AI demand grows slower than capacity, SMCI could face softer pricing. Dependency on third-party investments. Announcements of big foreign capital are great optics. Many such commitments over the years have been revised, delayed or scaled back. If promised capital doesn't flow on schedule, or is contingent on political conditions, SMCI's assumed order pipeline could be less certain. Reuters and other outlets note that big investment pledges sometimes don't fully materialize. In short, government helps build the road, but the truck still needs fuel, a driver, and a parking spot at the end. Specific negative scenarios. 5 ways Trump's push could bite SMCI and trigger sell. Let's get surgical. Here are 5 concrete scenarios where the administration's acceleration of data centers could negatively affect supermicro, grid bottlenecks delay projects, utilities need time and capital to upgrade substations, transmission, or generation. If grid upgrades fall behind, operators delay rack shipments or scale down initial orders, dragging SMCI's revenue into later quarters. Rapid permits to public lawsuits to stop work orders. Faster federal permitting can trigger lawsuits challenging environmental or local impacts. Even a temporary injunction on a major project can postpone tens of millions in ship systems. Capital misallocation and speculative overbuild. If investors and builders race to put up facilities without matching long-term contracted customers, hyperscalers may delay purchases, leading to lower ASPs and margin pressure for SMCI. Source: Analyst commentary on demand/timing risks. Supply chain bottlenecks from synchronized builds. If many projects start at once, SMCI may face its own supplier shortages for components, fans, racks, PCBs, liquid cooling parts. That can make shipments lumpy and increase costs. Industry supply chain reporting supports this common risk. Reputational and regulatory backlash. Fast permits that sidestep local processes can create political backlash,
causing later administrations or local regulators to impose retroactive restrictions, a policy whiplash that raises long-term uncertainty for suppliers like Smci. Bottom line, policy makes it possible to build faster, but faster doesn't necessarily mean smoother. Note this as well. Do you want peace at heart? The next day John seeth Jesus coming unto him, and saith, Behold the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. John 1:29. Fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven, and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters. Revelation 14 verse 7. I appeal to you to fear God and obey his law. For his commandments are sure and his word everlasting. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Want more information? Please check the description section. That's the end for now. If you have watched until the end, drop a comment like this: I stayed until the end. Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. 3 more favors I request from you. First, like this video, subscribe, and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, you greatly encourage me to continue bringing to you insightful information. Do not miss out on our future videos full of insight. All I am asking is your subscription. Thanks for joining us today. Your support means so much to us. Do not hesitate to share this video to help someone who may benefit. I recommend that you watch the next video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts about today's video. Wish you God's blessings and care. Wait, watch and pray. See you in the next video according to God's will.